Hi, and welcome to another video as I crack my knuckle. Today's video I'm very excited to talk about because I'm going to share my cat's adoption story. And yeah, so I'm pretty much gonna get into it. If you don't like this content, I have a lot of different content, like books and talking about my disability, hydrocephalus. So if hearing about my cute, adorable little cat doesn't intrigue you, I might have something that does. I'm gonna stop saying hopefully, and I'm gonna continue with the story. As always, I do try my best with editing. I do not claim to be a good editor, like, at all, but I do try, and I don't feel comfortable having another person edit my stuff because if I say I don't, like, need them to tell me that I say a lot because I know I do, and it just kind of makes me uncomfortable thinking that somebody could potentially have, like, my mess ups of me yapping, so that's why I don't have somebody else edit, in case you care. And I'm gonna be playing with this highlighter because I need something to do with my hands. I do have 3 notes down below, so if below, like, the camera, so if you do see me looking down, that's why I'm looking down, is because I want to make sure that I get these dates right. So yeah, so today's video, as I said, is going to be talking about my cat's adoption story. So I adopted her at the 29th of September of 2023, and she has been 1,000,000% the best thing I have ever spent my money on. She was $130, and I would pay $1,000 for her. Although she may not be the most cuddly, like, outgoing cat, she is the, like, best thing that has ever happened to me, and I would love to get her a sibling. Anyway, this video is not about her getting a sibling. This video is about her, so let's get back to it. So, as I said, the 29th of September of 2023, I adopted her, but I'm gonna kind of backtrack a couple days before that of the whole adoption process, sort of thing. So I originally, before her, I liked this one cat on a pet adoption website, and I was like, okay, I, like, sort of recently moved to the area that I used to live in. I'm gonna just wait to make sure that, although I'm pretty sure that this job is, like, will hire me, I'm gonna, like, wait, make sure that they're gonna hire me before I obviously get a cat. Just because even though I did have, you know, money set aside for the cat, I wanted to start myself out good and have a job. And that cat ended up getting adopted, and then I kept on searching, and none of the cats that I found, like, spoke to me. They were pretty much all, like, my roommate at the time was like, oh, what about this one? What about this one? And they did not speak to me. And so I found one that I thought was cute that spoke to me, but it spoke to me because I'm gonna backtrack for a second, is most of, like, the dogs that I've grown up with are, like, they have the white here, and then like their like snout, nose, whatever you want to call it, this whole like muzzle area is white. And so like I feel like I'm attracted to like animals that have like the white muzzle area, because of growing up, that was like the look of the dogs that I had. And my family never had a cat before, and the reason why we didn't have a cat was a lot of my family, like extended family, not a lot, a couple of my extended family is allergic, and pretty much only one now, supposedly, and is allergic. And basically is when I moved out, I was like, I can't take care of a dog in an apartment. That's not fair to the animal, and that's not fair to me as a college student trying to make sure that I am like giving an animal a proper life, and to also balance it with my studies and stuff like that. Anyway, back to the cat is I found one online, and I called the shelter, and I called them, and I like really nicely, like, and really nicely, and with a lot of anxiety, I'm gonna be honest. And I called up the shelter, and I'm like, hi, this is my name, this is the cat that I'm interested in. I live a couple hours away. I just don't want to drive all the way up there and have this cat be adopted while I'm making my trip. Is there any way like you could hold this cat, or like something like that? Like, I'm really interested in adopting this cat. And this lady, she was not the nicest, to say the least. She just started off yelling, and I'm pretty sure she was a volunteer, and she was yelling at me saying that this cat was already adopted. First of all, how am I supposed to know that if the cat's still on the website? Second of all, I'm calling to make sure that this cat wasn't adopted, so I don't make hours long trip to like go see this cat and have it get adopted and it fall through. Like, I'm just trying to like prepare, not kind of make it a waste to go and see this cat. And this lady was very rude, to the point where I will never adopt from this cat shelter or adoption shelter, because I believe it was not just cats. I believe it was also, yes, it was also dogs. And I will never adopt there, and I will never recommend people to adopt from this specific shelter, just because of the 2-minute phone call that I had of a very unpleasant lady when, as I said, I was being perfectly nice, and I'm just wanted to see if this cat was still available, so I did not make hours long of a wasted trip. Anyway, back to my cat. So on the 18th, it was either I'm trying to remember if it was either the 18th or the 19th that she was put up. I think it was the 18th of September that she was put up on the adoption website. And I like fell in love with her. And I was talking to my grandma, and I'm like, oh my God, this place, like, I've been looking, at this point, like, my whole family knew I was looking for a cat. And I was talking to my grandma, and I'm like, this place is not gonna accept me. Like, I have no prior cat experience. They're not gonna accept me. Like, although I've had dogs all my life, and I've had a bunch of friends that have had cats, like, there's no way that they're gonna accept me, because how this place works is, which a lot of places are like this, but I know not every place is like this, is you put in an application, this place reads your application, says, yes, you're good enough, no, you're not, and if you're good enough, you get contacted. So the 19th, I sent in my application, and my grandma, she's like, one of her friends is like a foster parent sometimes, because they have like a deck or something, and they have like kittens that are often, born under there. And she's like, oh, well, if you don't get this cat named Allie, you can just take one of her cats and name it Allie. And I'm like, but I fell in love with this cat, and I don't really want to name the cat Allie, but like, this cat is speaking to me because their name is Allie. It's the personality is exactly what I want. The look is exactly what I want. And the size is exactly what I want. Because I wanted like a young kitten. And I wanted to like be able to say like, I raised this cat. I didn't want a giant cat. Like, there was no way I was getting a Maine Coon. And even like cats that weren't a Maine Coon, I wanted to have a cat on like the smaller side of things. And so as I said, and I keep repeating myself, so sorry. But on the 19th, I sent in my application, not expecting to hear anything at all. Literally, I was terrified. Like, I was like, I think at this point I could not like function. And I was like, to any friend in my class, I'm like, I'm sorry if I'm out of it, but I put in an application for this cat, and I have not heard anything, and I'm freaking out. And on the 24th of September, and obviously since I like started talking, I know I said like for the one cat that I wanted to make sure that like the job went like through before I put in an application. But obviously at this point I do have a job, and of the story, and I have one now, but anyway. The 24th of September, I got a phone call, and I don't usually answer phone numbers that I don't recognize. And so I answer it, and I just remember being like, hello? Like, I was like, who the heck could this be? Like, I don't know. I was at that time I was getting a lot of scam calls. Those are always fun. But I was like, I don't know who this could be besides them. And it wasn't like an Ohio area code. And I got her from Ohio. And sorry, I'm so giddy about this part, 'cause, like, part of me still in disbelief that I have my own cat. And keep in mind also to, like, since I saw this cat, I was, like, nonstop looking at this cat's profile. I was, like, as I said, telling all my classmates. I was obviously telling my roommate. I was telling my family. I am like, I'm in love with this cat. How funny would it be if I got a cat named Allie? And so on the 24th of September, as I said, I got a phone call. And it was the adoption place, and it was a volunteer. And she's like, hi, I saw you put in an application. Are you still interested in adopting Allie? And from the other adoption place that I called versus this lady calling me, my mouth literally dropped. I'm like, one, you are so nice. Two, you want me to adopt this cat? Like, you're telling me I can adopt this cat and you're asking me when I can pick it up. And on the 29th of September of 2023, I brought home my little bundle of joy. Yeah, I was in such disbelief that they were like wanting me to adopt this cat. And yeah, I felt so, obviously I'm still in love with her. But I fell so in love with her when I was just literally staring at her profile picture. There were 3 pictures on her profile. I would just scroll, and then I would literally scroll to where it talked about her, and it was like, she loves to play with feather toys, and she loves cuddles, and she loves other cats, and she like a bunch of like other stuff. And I was like, there was a point where I had that shit memorized, screenshotted, so I knew if they changed her profile, which they did. And then when I first saw her, and if I can find it, I will put in the video. But I have a video of when I first saw her in the cage, because she got spayed on the 26th. And so she was in like the spay wing, so she wasn't like in the whole cat room where they can kind of like let the cats roam free, let them be sort of thing. And so I have a video of me first meeting her, and she like literally, the volunteer who took me back, she took me back, and she's like, oh yeah, just open up the door and like you can grab her, you can hold her, and that sort of thing. And I was still in disbelief. Like, up until the 19th, I was in disbelief that I sent in an application. The 24th, I was in disbelief through the 29th that they wanted me. And this place was 5 hours there, or 5 hours including like there and back of where I lived at the time. And it was in Ohio, so it was in a whole different state. And as I keep on saying, I was in like disbelief. And then I opened up the door, and she like kind of nuzzled herself into me, and then she was like trying to flip over, and she's only at this point she's like 3 months approximately, so she's like this little itty bitty kitten, and she's trying to like flip over for me to rub her stomach. My heart, it melted. She's over there right now. She's sleeping peacefully. But yeah. So obviously I did get her. And the first thing that I did was I was in shock, and the first thing that I did when I got in the car is I called my grandma. Or not called, I FaceTimed her. She didn't know that I was going to see this cat, or, you know, she knew I put in an application, and she just heard me nonstop yap about this cat. And I took the phone and I turned it on her. And ever since then, my cat is also not my cat in a way. Every single time I go see my grandma, it is not my child or my daughter or my cat. It is her baby. The first, I'm going to say 4 times, she had to spend of like meeting Allie. Sorry if it's a little bit of a different angle. My phone ran out of storage, so I had to delete some things. Of course it did. Anyway, the like first 4 times for 10 minutes before we left, my grandma had to say goodbye to her baby and that she would see her baby real soon. And it was so cute. Now, obviously, it's a little different because I've had my cat for so long, but that cat is still hers. And my grandma's made it clear since the first moment she met my cat that if something were to ever happen to me, my grandma would want my cat. That makes me laugh so much. I love that. And I have a whole little village that if something happens to me, that a whole little village who want my cat. So I would show her right now, but she is currently in her little house sleeping, and it's like pitch black in there, and so I don't want to disturb her. But I'll put some pictures and some videos, and hopefully this wasn't boring, but I'm very excited to talk about my cat and very excited to talk about her adoption story. I was looking at cats when I was looking like before her, and I was looking at cats. I was looking up like until 3,000. No, I was looking up cats until 300 miles. So like the distance didn't matter, and I wasn't looking for a cat with my same name. I do want to make that also clear. It just so happened that I was scrolling and she popped up, and I said, that is the one that I'm going to put in an adoption application for. And non-stop look at her profile. And then I ended up getting her. Clearly. Yeah, that's all I have for this video. I hope it was interesting. I hope it wasn't boring. I hope you can hear me. And I hope I don't repeat myself too much, but when I get excited, I forget things, and so I had to backtrack a couple times. Yeah, that's all I got. Bye.